Jen Hartman, PR and social media manager for John Deere. So great to have you on the show.
Yeah.
Jen, I want to go back to something you mentioned because I thought it was fascinating. You talked about the 200 social media stakeholders that you work with across 54 countries. I'm curious kind of what these people look like. Are these social media practitioners, or are these generally communications or marketing people that are wearing the social hat as part of many hats? And what does it look like with your interactions with these 200 people?
That's exactly right, Adam. I would say that for the most part, they are 99% wearing social as one of many hats. We have one full-time social media manager in Europe. I've got two full-time content analysts and a contract employee that works for me. But other than that, these are primarily marketing communications, human relations, public affairs, communications employees that are doing this as they can. In terms of us working with them and coordinating those efforts, we have monthly calls with different regions. So we've broken out our major regions into 4 regions as a company. Europe is region 2, region 3 being Brazil, region 1 being Asia, and region 4 North America. So we will hold calls with each of those regions, knowing that each of them are at different levels of sophistication, and navigate as much as we can best practices and sharing as much content as we can through Spreadfast, which is our primary, or Koros, our primary software management tool.
How do you know when you get there? Like at what point do you order the cake that says, one of the best social brands in the world?
I think for us, this has been, it's really, I'm going to answer that question in 2 ways. One is, in order for Deere as a business to be truly impactful, and, we're a 180-year-old company. If we're going to be around for the next 180 years, we really have to continue introducing the latest technologies and innovation that will support what has become a tremendous challenge in the ag industry, right? There's less land, there's fewer farmers, there's a lot of environmental concerns. We've got to be able to help farmers produce more with less. All this at the same time, right? The population is exponentially exploding. So for us, when we think about, are we being effective as a brand or in that social space, we've got to attract the top tech talent in the industry. I've been saying that if it's not enough for us to have content or a message that says we're a technology company, that we're highly innovative and we need some of the best tech talent. Our social channels and our social program needs to reflect that innovation, right? Because the minute some young tech recruit at Stanford logs into our Twitter account or LinkedIn, and what he or she is seeing is counter to this message he's heard, we're in a world of trouble. So I think number one, right, our social program will reflect that innovation and technology that our story would say we're committed to. And then secondly, for us, we're B2B, so this is not about, followers or reach. But I think what this is really about is that brand affinity. We have done a great job those first 8 years of forming the social program in product marketing. It's what this company does best, right? Is sell iron, sell the technology and services that we provide. But we have not done a great job amplifying our brand, sharing that story via social about who we are, what we stand for, what's important to us. And that's a huge opportunity that we have. I think I mentioned in the pre-conversation that we work with Morning Consult, and we're really looking a lot to brand perception to help us understand if there's been any shift. Certainly the ag industry, construction industry knows this well, but there's a growing population that is getting further and further away from those rural areas. And if we expect to continue expanding, growing, and attracting that talent, we've got to help tell our story in much more compelling ways.
So when you see that, using social listening tools, either in a place like Twitter or in a discussion board or forum, do you say, hey, that's neat, and we just log it as a mention, or do you occasionally jump in there and say, hey, thanks very much, we saw that and you're the best?
Yeah, I would say, again, two ways to answer that. The first is a lot of our fans will tag us into the conversation.
It's great.
Right? So if there's a customer, a farmer who's showing his combine harvesting wheat and he didn't tag us, someone will jump in and tag us for him. When it is a more of a customer support issue, we wait until we're tagged, right? A lot of times on Twitter, farmers will be looking for counsel or advice on an issue they might be facing with a piece of their equipment. We have a 24/7 customer support program for our ag and turf team where we're monitoring for those conversations. But unless they tag us, we like to say that, if you were walking in a coffee shop and saw a group of farmers sitting around a table and they were complaining about their John Deere tractor, you're not going to pop into the middle of that conversation and insert yourself and say, hey, I'm from Deere. I heard you were talking about a problem with your tractor. What can I do? We take that same approach with social, right? Unless they bring us into the conversation, we're going to let them work it out amongst themselves. We have a corporate social agency that supports us in terms of providing some strategy and direction. But as of 18 months ago, even 12 months ago, Deere had kind of gotten in this rut where everyone and our marketing teams, whether it was golf or forestry or construction or ag, was looking at social as free marketing. And I know a lot of bigger brands have this challenge, right? Where leadership just wants to see it on the timeline. They're maybe not focused on how effective it is, but as long as it's there and they can see it, they think it's effective. So one of the big undertakings we took on this past year was to really sell and make the business case for how much more effective their social program could be if it was targeted to their specific audience, the right message, the right time, the right audience. We took a look analytically at where we were as a brand a year ago. Our content pushed out on the channel, and this was specific to Twitter, had increased by 33% year over year, but our engagement had dropped by that same percentage. We had eroded our reach down to 0.001 organically because we had just been loading the channels with content from every part of the business at any given moment on any given day to do free marketing, right? Hey, we have already got this content from this digital ad we're sharing this month. Let's post it. And by the way, let's also post it not only to Twitter, but to Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram while we're at it. And boy, we'll just increase our reach exponentially. So we have finally reached that point thanks to a lot of great work by our divisions who, our Marcom managers have known where this needed to go. But this was really about helping leadership